Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. So we do on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Now before I start, as you know that mains is about to start from 15th of September. There's only 4 days left. So it's very important that you revise all the current affairs that you had. And through this video session, whatever news that I'll be discussing will definitely help you to the larger extent, even utilizing this as an example here and there in gender studies paper. So stay tuned till end of this session. To make this session more fruitful, we'll be looking into the important aspect. So let's get started. What is today's list that the part of the news that I'll be discussing for today? It is 11th of September. The first important news is about the G-20 plan to explore the crypto regulation. This has been unanimous decision coming out from the member countries. We'll see the details. Second is about the G-20 statement on health. That is India's 3 priorities that has been listed out. Other than this, we have African Union as a new member for G20. So as of now, this G20 will now be known as G21, right? Now, there's a part of the consent that has been given to the Himachal Pradesh government about the growing of the cannabis cultivation. So we'll see the detail of this as well. And we'll conclude this session with editorial, that is redouble efforts to reduce the disaster risk. Disaster is a big problem in India as well, not only for India, but many other countries have been suffering for the part of natural calamity and disaster. So this is something that will be, that has actually been focal point for the G20 summit. So these are some of the important things that I'll be discussing for today. Stay tuned. At the end of this session, there will be current affairs questions that will be in MCQ based format. So that will help you to get some important points, and that will be definitely helping you in the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin, if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. And before I begin, just to tell you brief about the Nishchay All India Test Series program. This particular test series is aimed for UPSC Prelims 2024. The main features of this program include 4,900 plus questions. Along with that, there will be a video discussion that will be followed. Demo test is also available for all the students out there. And we have free magazines for content enrichment that will give you a savior for this examination. If you instantly want to register for this course, this is a QR code from where you can register instantly. And if you want to read more about this course, you can reach out to the website also. Now starting the session, the first news, that is G20 plans to explore the crypto regulation, something important for gender studies paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So G20 Leader Summit has unanimously decided, or decide किया है to swift implement the reporting framework of crypto asset. Now, if you look at the part of crypto asset, it has been talked about, and recent में RBI ने भी इसके लिए approval नहीं दी थी, but there's something that has been working out from the government of India, and especially at the forum like G20, it has been talked about. Now, the number of member nations wanted the information exchange on the non-financial asset to start by 2027. So every member country is also looking forward कि जिस तरह से बिटकॉइन की दायरे बढ़े हैं, we need to incorporate that in the digital payments. The crypto assets reporting framework or the template is being developed to make sure that such assets are not used by tax evaders to conceal their unaccounted wealth. Now, before I proceed further with the details, something important that you need to know about the crypto regulations by country. कौन-कौन से ऐसे countries हैं जिनमें cryptocurrency regulated है? So if you see Canada, they have the regulated one. They are regulating the entire part. European Union, there's a gray area that exists. Lithuania, there's a regulated. Russia, there's again a gray area. There's no part of the confirmed part of the things that has been devised out in the Russia. Now China, again working with the gray area. Japan, the entire regulation is there. South Korea has a gray area. Australia having gray area, right? And India still, as I've told you, RBI is not allowed, the part of the regulation has to be there. UK has a gray area, Switzerland regulate the entire part, and Mexico has the regulated. Even United States of America has a gray area in terms of the part of regulation for crypto. So these are some of the countries which you can use as an example in the mains paper, right? अगर आप मेंस में लिख रहे हैं तो आप ये कंट्रीज के नाम लिख करके भी बता सकते हैं कि कौन से डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज के पास रेगुलेशन की क्या स्टेटस है. Apart from this, the common crypto that is there, the share of responded in select countries. So if you see, Nigeria is among the top with 32%, then Vietnam with 21, Philippines 20, Turkey 16, then Peru again 16. For India, it is 9%. China, that is 7%. So these data will definitely help you. अगर आप ग्राफ फॉर्मेट भी बनाना चाहें मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में, you can draw that. Now, how to work on domestic regulations? This is what actually the plan is for G20. G20 के countries ने decide किया है to explore the regulation part and the framework on the crypto asset. Now, crypto asset is very important. The people has been devising out the fund काफ़ी ज़्यादा लगाए जाते हैं and there's no part of security which is there. So India could wait for a longer time before framing up the domestic regulation, and this would be done in coordination with the Reserve Bank of India and also the market regulator, that is SEBI, right? So the part of the currency regulation to initiate the dialogue, stakeholders will be taken into the things, and then only the way forward will be there. An outright ban on the cryptocurrencies that was mooted by the Reserve Bank of India under the consideration by the government. Now, FSP की क्या recommendations है इसके बारे में? So FSP stand for the Financial Stability Board. So what SFP has actually come up with? So they have said that the recommendations to regulate and supervise the crypto assets initiative, activities and initiatives both will be included. Now it welcomed the synthesis report from the International Monetary Fund of the FSP, and it also includes the coordinated regulatory framework जहाँ पे कुछ specific emerging market pertaining to the money laundering and terror financing is taken into considerations. Now the other news, that is G20 Declaration on Health, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of health. This particular news is also important for General Studies paper 2, जहाँ पे bilateral regional grouping and agreement के बारे में भी mention की गई है syllabus में. Now, recently there was G20 Leaders Declaration. I mean, that part that was held in Delhi. Bharat Mandapam was a venue in Pragati Maidan in Delhi. So that health has been focal point also, because the part of the things that is coming out, health को लेकर के काफ़ी ज़्यादा मीटिंग भी हुई है पहले, और इस बार की G20 प्रेसिडेंसी में that was a focal point. Now, G20 presidency has pushed the integration of evidence-based traditional medicine practices with modern medicine, right? Now, if you see the part that has been evolving, the health has become very important. Although अगर G20 की बात करें, this was formed actually to look into the part for the financial crisis, right? Financial crisis को overcome करने के लिए इसे find की गई थी. But now it is working on different vertical. जितनी भी important verticals हैं, उस पे काम हो रही है. So the different vertical has been identified, right? And a summit on traditional medicine hosted on the sideline of Health Minister was also there. Now, one thing that I wanted to tell you, this was the first meeting which took place in Trivandrum. So the venue might be important for many other competitive examination that you will be appearing for. Now, about the declarations, इस declaration में क्या क्या ऐसे चीजें थे जो highlight थे? First was that to strengthen the primary healthcare. This was the first most priority. Second was the health workforce, and third is the essential services for better than pandemic level. So whatever things that was there during the pandemic, we have seen that the healthcare, especially the healthcare infrastructure, was not that great, and even the performance that was underperformed, right? So it was underperformed in that case. Now, in addition to that, the epidemics such as tuberculosis, AIDS, and the part of the part that is actually there on the research of COVID-19 that has been long due, और काफ़ी ज़्यादा इस पर research होने के बाद that the things has been devised out कि इंडिया को इस पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है. We are already working on tuberculosis, the target that has been set by Government of India to reduce it by 2030, और AIDS के लिए भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा programs हैं. The declaration also stressed the importance of health approach, where the disease on animal, plants, humans has been tracked, and same mechanism with focus on tracking antimicrobial resistance. Now, three priorities की अगर बात करें जो actually devise out हुई है इस meeting के through. This is first on building the resilient system on healthcare emergency prevention, preparedness and response. Why it is important? We have seen that during COVID-19, the thing has become worse. The healthcare infrastructure which was there in India was actually not adequate to address the problem, right? So this is something where on more on the prevention part. The second is strengthening the cooperation on pharmaceutical sector, focusing on ensuring the equitable availability of access to vaccine, diagnostic, therapeutics and other part. Now there is a platform for sharing the health innovation solutions for better universal health coverage, COVID and Sanjeevani. These all are the part of the health initiative that has come during COVID-19 and they have been a great success, right? अगर success की बात करें तो काफ़ी अच्छी success rate रही है इसकी. Now, digital health program, which are the programs which Government of India has actually been working on, and India is committed to the platform sharing as scalable solutions with the World Health Organization's assistance on utilizing by the member states. Now, उसके अलावा cumulative global launch initiatives की अगर बात करें, there is a global initiative on digital health, जिसके कुछ important 4 pillars हैं. The first pillar is investment tracker. Second is repository and healthcare solution that will definitely help in getting more part of innovations that is there. Knowledge sharing and implementations of country specific adaptations. उसके अलावा to track and monitor the needs of the country. So every country will help each other. So helping is definitely feasibly in this context, right? And while 200 million fund is proposed to find consensus among the countries, and several non-profit have also committed their fund. तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा जो NGOs की तरफ से भी हेल्प देखी गई है इंडिया में स्पेसिफिकली, एंड थिंग्स आर वर्किंग आउट टू इंश्योर दैट पुट इन प्लेस. और हेल्थ प्रोग्राम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डिजिटल हेल्थ बनाने के लिए इंडिया ने अपनी कमिटमेंट काफ़ी ज़्यादा दिखाई. नाउ एंट्रीम मेडिसिन काउंटर मेजर्स प्लेटफॉर्म्स की अगर बात करें, देयर हैज़ बीन कंसेंसस, एक परमानेंट प्लेटफॉर्म पे इसकी कंसेंसस बनाई गई है, एंड द काउंटर मेडिसिन ड्यूरिंग द पेंडेमिक वाज आल्सो इनटू कंसिडरेशन. ऑल्दो there's an in principle agreement for G20 member countries such as platform, there's no clarity on how the platform can be developed. So something again very important that will help the other member countries to get the benefit out of that. Now African Union become the permanent member of G20, something important for general studies paper, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. Although the African Union has been an active role player, और इस बार members बनने के बाद उसके पास और भी ऐसे options होंगे जो वो explore कर पाएंगे. This is something very very important for your mains examination. अगर आप इस बार के mains में appear कर रहे हैं for 2020, तो ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि आप इस पे important point note down कर लें. African Union has become a permanent member of the G20. G20 is the largest group which has almost 85% of the global GDP. अगर बात करें जीडीपी में तो 85% कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन है, 75% ऑफ द ट्रेड आते. सो अफ्रीकन यूनियन वाज एडमिटेड एज अ न्यू मेंबर और इंडिया ने इसकी अप्रूवल दी. इंडिया बीइंग द करंट चेयर ऑफ G20, द अप्रूवल वाज गिवन बाय इंडिया. नाउ फॉर यू इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू नो अबाउट G20 के मीन द पार्ट ऑफ अफ्रीकन यूनियन. कौन कौन से कंट्रीज हैं अफ्रीकन यूनियन में? सो द कंट्रीज इंक्लूड फर्स्ट द नॉर्थ, देन ईस्ट, सेंट्रल, साउथ एंड वेस्ट. तो कुछ ऐसे 5 रीजन है दैट टुगेदर कंप्राइजेज ऑफ अफ्रीकन यूनियन, राइट? तो अफ्रीकन यूनियन को कंप्राइज करते हैं. वी हैव नॉर्थ 7 कंट्रीज है नॉर्थ में, साउथ में 10, वेस्ट में 15, ईस्ट में 14 और सेंट्रल में 9 कंट्रीज हैं जो पूरे 117 मिलियन डायस्पोरा को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. समथिंग इंपॉर्टेंट आपसे कई बार पूछा भी जा सकता है कि कौन से रीजन में सबसे ज़्यादा अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज है, तो करेक्ट आंसर विल बी द वेस्टर्न रीजन ऑफ द अफ्रीकन यूनियन हैज़ द मैक्सिमम कंट्रीज. Now about African Union, it is an intergovernmental organization जहाँ पे 55 member states हैं. Grouping has been launched by the part of the successors. उससे पहले Association for African Unity थी जो कि 1963 में फॉर्म की गई. And African Union was something that has been again devised out. कोशिश इनकी होती है to have a integrated, prosperous and peaceful Africa. AU Secretariat is there in Addis Ababa. Collectively, the group has been working for 3 trillion with a 1.4 billion people. Objective क्या है AU की? So unlike the other organization and the previous erstwhile, that is Organization for African Unity, AU has been concentrating on the resources to achieve unity and solidarity in the African Union people. उसके अलावा they also seek to accelerate the process and political socio-economic integrations of the continent, right? Now the key objective is to include and promote peace, stability, security across the region, promoting human right as a part of agenda. तो अगर आपको शॉर्ट में लिखना है तो फर्स्ट यू कैन राइट द प्रमोटिंग पीस, देन वी हैव स्टेबिलिटी, देन सिक्योरिटी and even promoting the human right? So these are some important areas that has been taken care by the African Union. Achievements क्या रही हैं African Union की? They have been working on the peacekeeping missions, tackling terrorism, or from Shell to northern Mozambique, there have been a great progress. Organizations has also worked out in the Central African Republic, Comoros, Darfur, Somalia, South Sudan, and Mali. They have established the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which has actually been established in 2021. And this is again another achievement for African Union, right? So these are some of the things that is positively working. These are some of the positive aspects there on the African Union side. Now कुछ shortcomings भी हैं, like the major failure is instability that is there in the coups. म्यांमार में भी आपने coups के बारे में देखा होगा. So same goes with AU. Continent has witnessed 200 coups. The most recent took place in Gabon and Niger. So coup is basically the military, right? So military of a country overtaking the power is known as coups. Now the organization has been unable to get its member countries to pay their annual dues, leaving starved of the funds. As a result, it has deepened the external funding, which impacts the autonomy of the region. Now moving ahead, Himachal Pradesh gets the ground ready for cannabis cultivation, something important for general studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So with Himachal Pradesh government taking steps to legalize the cannabis or hemp, इस cultivations को allow करने के लिए government ने allow किया है. They have actually seen that this particular productions can help in boosting the economy, और जो farmers हैं उनको भी बहुत हद तक revenue increase होगी. But again, this is on the regulated format. You cannot grow. There's certain amount that has been decided. So the committee comprising the lawmakers have explored the possibility and legality of the cultivation of cannabis. Recently इसे recommend किया गया for non-narcotic uses, especially for medicinal, industrial and scientific uses. And for unregulated ये बहुत ज़्यादा ही नॉन मेडिसिनल पर्पसेस के लिए यूज होती है. बट अभी जो गवर्नमेंट ने अलाउ किया है दैट इज ओनली फॉर मेडिसिनल, इंडस्ट्रियल एंड साइंटिफिक यूज. इट शुड नॉट बी यूज फॉर एनी अदर कंजम्पशंस. नाउ हेम्प की अगर बात करें, इट हैज बीन अ नाउटिकल क्लास फ्रॉम कैनबिस सटिवा एंड कल्टिव ग्रोन इन स्पेशली इन इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया फॉर मेडिसिनल यूज. हिमाचल प्रदेश की अगर बात करें, दे आर एक्चुअली इलीगल बाय द रूल दैट इज नार्कोटिक्स, ड्रग्स, साइकोट्रॉपिक सब्सटेंसेस. एनडीपीएस एक्ट 1985 के अंदर ये रिस्ट्रिक्टेड सब्सटेंसेस में आती है. द हेम्प हैज बीन ग्रोइंग इन द जोन विद द एनुअल कल्टिवेशन फ्रॉम द सीड्स, एंड पीपल रिसेंटली हैव प्रोसेस्ड द हेम्प इनटू 3 फॉर्म, दैट इज हेम्प सीड एक्सट्रैक्ट, हेम्प ऑयल और हेम्प फाइबर. ये 3 ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, प्रोडक्ट्स हैं दैट इज कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम द हेम्प कल्टिवेशंस. नाउ इफ यू लुक एट द पार्ट इन इंडिया, कौन कौन से ऐसे रीजन है जहाँ पे इसकी प्रोडक्शंस हैं. So prevalence of charas and ganja, this is a normal language, commonly known language that is being used. Sikkim, Nagaland, Odisha, the part of Andhra Pradesh, NCT Delhi, that is the national capital territory of Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Manipur. Health benefits की अगर बात करें, see, this is used for medicinal purposes. तो उसको कुछ उसी ध्यान से आपको देखने की जरूरत है. विटामिन, मिनरल्स, न्यूट्रिएंट्स हेम्प्स में होते हैं, दैट इज यूज्ड फॉर सिग्निफिकेंट हेल्थ बेनिफिट्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, हेम्प्स ऑयल की अगर बात करें, दे आर रिच इन विटामिन ई व्हिच इज यूज्ड फॉर कीपिंग योर इम्यून सिस्टम फंक्शन. बट अगेन देयर सर्टेन अमाउंट एंड दैट इज द रेगुलेटेड. द एक्ट हैज आल्सो दिस इज आल्सो एन एंटीऑक्सीडेंट दैट हैज हेल्प टू रिड्यूस द फ्री रेडिकल दैट काउज सेल डैमेज इन योर बॉडी. सो एंटीऑक्सीडेंट बेसिकली जितने भी विटामिन सी रिलेटेड फूड्स हैं उसमें भी आपको मिल जाएंगे. Now some concern, the state government has raised a social concern especially for the adolescents and the youth being drawn from the use and abuse of cannabis and the nexus between the illegal producers, suppliers and cannabis getting stronger with the preface occurrence of a amotivational syndrome. So we have to regulate this, because if it is unregulated, it can create problem for youth, even for a region like Punjab and even for Northeast, right? हमने देखा है किस तरह से ये प्रॉब्लम काफी ज्यादा बढ़ चुकी है. Now moving to the editorial of the day, redouble efforts to reduce the disaster risk. Something important for general studies paper 2, that is the effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries. So issues under this editorial, first is theme, that is addressing the disaster risk. Then we have high impact areas, disaster risk in India, solutions and measures, 15 finance commissions के क्या recommendations हैं and the way forward. तो बात करें इंडिया की प्रेसिडेंसी की. इंडिया के प्रेसिडेंसी में एक इम्पॉर्टेंट वर्टिकल्स थी डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शंस की, और इस तरह के इनिशिएटिव्स पर इंडिया ने पहले भी काम किया हुआ है. दे हैव बीन डेवलपिंग coalition for part of the disaster risk management. So under the leadership of the G-20, which was there, sustainable development goals की बात की गई है, that this should be very important to achieve it, and this will call and decide for various other roadmaps also. Now high impact areas की अगर बात करें, 5 important ऐसे priorities हैं that has been identified. This include the universal coverage of early warning system. If early warning system is there, we can prevent things to happen. Prevention के लिए सबसे पहली important measures हैं. Then we have disaster climate resilient infrastructure that will also call for more resilience in this term. Financial framework, so ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा bottleneck रही है इंडिया के लिए भी. तो disaster risk reduction में financial framework को लाने की जरूरत है, so that we are getting assistance either from World Bank or IMF, right? Discovery, rehabilitation and reconstructions, and nature-based solutions and eco-based system approaches for disaster risk reductions will be something that will be carved out. So these are the 5 important priority areas of disaster risk reductions. Now disaster in India की अगर बात करें, see India has been among the countries जहाँ पे disaster हमेशा ही रही है, whether it is from different verticals, but it has been there. In 2022, the country has battled for disaster extreme weather, and while the part of the monsoon that has caused widespread loss of the life. कुछ ऐसे मैं examples भी आपके साथ share करना चाहूँगा. Like major disaster in India, if you see, from 1991 we have seen the earthquake in Uttarkashi and the region of Nepal. Then we have Chamoli in Himachal Pradesh region, basically that is also in Uttarakhand. उसके अलावा floods 2008 में, फिर flood 2004 भोपाल gas disaster is another one. Super cyclone tsunami, then we have flood in 2005, earthquake, भुज की earthquake काफ़ी ज़्यादा रही है, avalanches in 2005 earthquake. So these are some of the major and prominent from 1980 to 2009. उसके बाद की आपकी चीज़ें ध्यान होंगी. So recent में the part of things that is there, there have been a lot of other things. You can even correlate that. तो आप इस तरह के जो important examples हैं अपने मेंस के पेपर में भी लिख पाएंगे. Now कुछ ऐसे डिजास्टर जो वर्ल्ड वाइड अगर बात करें कंट्रीज विद मोस्टली प्रोन टू द डिजास्टर, सो वी हैव इंडियन ओशन रीजन, राइट. उसके अलावा हाटी अर्थक्वेक, then Myanmar, China and Pakistan earthquake. If you see now the part of the natural disaster that is there, India has 321 compared to other countries like China, United States of America, Philippines and Indonesia. Now solutions and measures, क्या ऐसे solutions devise out करने की ज़रूरत है? Definitely there is a need for adaptation and mitigations. उसके लिए सबसे पहले ज़रूरी है कि जो हमारे सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल के टारगेट्स हैं उसको अचीव किए जाएं, राइट. यू नीड टू चेक कौन कौन से ऐसे गोल्स हैं सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट के दैट इज वर्किंग फॉर डिजास्टर, राइट. सो दिस इज योर टास्क, यू हैव टू डू दिस, चेक इट आउट. नाउ 8 years down the line, the implementation of Sendai framework progress is severely lacking, so we need to also work in this. If you're writing in mains, you highlight this, that we need to progressively work on the Sendai framework. Now, many lessons are being learned in the COVID-19 pandemic, including the importance of system disaster, risk reductions, resilience, and adaptation. Now, another reason for optimization is in the part of Indian stewards on disaster and risk reductions. Now, 15 finance commissions की कुछ recommendations हैं on risk financing. They have said that they need to introduce the power of reform in disaster risk with a total allocations of 28.6 billion national state disaster level. And the government of India has provided sufficient resources for disaster preparedness, response, recovery, and capacity development. Now, way forward की अगर बात करें, on the international stage, India has been promoting the disaster resilience sustainability. चाहे वो coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure है, we better call it CDRI, something very important. They have been question in prelims examination, you can expect in mains as well. तो ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा help करेंगे, right? Improving the part of goal capabilities to help predict response and what we are facing. And G-20 summit in India definitely has played a major role, a proactive role in the disaster risk reduction. And it is an opportunity for international and global forum to accelerate the cooperations and build resilience, how to control and maintain prevention of the part of the disaster risk or the natural disaster that is coming out. So this is how, if you're writing in mains paper specifically, तो आप ये सारे points को include कर पाएंगे. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For yesterday, the correct option was C. For the other question number 2, the correct option is B. Now consider the following statement. AG 365X was recently seen in news. It is a small multi-purpose agriculture drone. The Indian Council for Agriculture Research has conceived the development. So do check out for the correct option. और जो सही options हैं वो आप हमें comment section में भी बता सकते हैं. Comment section is there for you to answer the correct options. Now second is the Zealand component के बारे में आपको बताना है with respect to this point. What is the component of ancient supercomponent Gondwana? It's located on Indo-Pacific plate boundaries. So do check out for the correct option and write your correct answer in the comment section. Do have a participant so that we can also be motivated on the part of the questions that we are putting in. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, queries about test series, admissions, programs, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching.